Everybody. Welcome to the webinar. Great to have you all here. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. If you can turn on your videos, please make sure you're a real person. That'll be really great if you can do that. If you cannot get your video on, just chat me and let me know, please. Otherwise, we may have to dismiss you. I much appreciate that. Lida, welcome. Where are you from, Lida? I see you have
Hi.
a child there. Yeah,
Sorry. Yes, that's
no
why
worries.
my camera is off. I think now I have a right excuse to turn it off.
It's up
Yeah,
to
I
you.
have a, yeah.
I have
Well,
no trouble.
if it's not distracting for everybody, yeah, I don't mind of having my
Thank
camera
you for
on.
being in communication. I appreciate that. And
Oh,
yeah, no problem. Just
ab-
yeah, no problem at all.
absolutely.
Great to
ab-
have you here. Welcome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah. All right, welcome. The rest of you, if you can let me know, please, if you are able to turn on Stephanie here. I'm driving. Okay, got it. That's fine. Mariangela. Hi, Mariangela. Your video is blank some reason.
Oh, let me just turn it on. Just give me
And there's someone I can hear in the background, but I can't quite hear who that is. Hi, Mariangela. Where are you from, Mariangela? From, you need to unmute yourself.
There we go. I'm from Toronto.
Toronto. Okay. Do you have a business? And just tell me a little bit about your business or your sales needs.
I have a, let's say, self-employment business. So I'm a massage therapist and I'm moving towards or thinking about like establishing a business and having something like that.
So, okay, what kind of business? Sorry, you're
I'm a
moving,
massage therapist, so wellness business.
and you're moving to what kind of business?
No, that's what I mean. I'm currently just self-employed
Uh-huh.
and hopefully having a business and having other people. So like establishing a full business for myself soon.
Great. Okay, awesome. So I imagine you have some questions about sales today, and that's why you're here. So great,
Yeah.
great to have you here.
Mhm.
Thank you for being here. All right, welcome again. Those rest of you, if you can please turn on your video, let me know. Yatu, I know you're going to be turning on camera in a bit. That's fine. Stephanie, I know you're driving. Oh, hi, Nelly. How are you?
I'm well, Sunil, and you?
Very good. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Great to have you. And I thought I saw someone else flash brilliantly,
Yes,
briefly. I
that
think
was
that was
me.
Noah.
Hello. Oh, wait. There we
You
go.
need to speak up, whoever that
Hello.
is.
Is that
Noah,
me?
say
Can you
hi.
hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Hey Noah, do you have a business and what are you interested in coming to this session for? What are you interested in learning? Yeah.
No, I don't have a business, but I'm just interested in sales. I'm just interested in just like I just graduated high school. I'm
Aha.
just interested in getting to learn how to like talk to people better and like understand the needs of the customer and just
Yeah.
learn how to sell stuff better. That's all. So gotta
Great.
start somewhere.
Awesome. It's great to have you here. Welcome. And I invite your questions later on.
Okay.
It's fabulous having a person your age. I'm not trying to belittle you in the least form. I'm actually
Done.
very, very
Yeah.
impressed that you're here. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here. Okay. Good job. Um, and the rest of you, the beginning part of sales is to really show yourself. So, I mean, unless you're driving, etc., that's fine. And it's up to you whether you want to have that breakthrough now or maybe sometime in the future. But my invitation is that you engage and you participate here. Because there are two ways you can engage here. You can engage like you're watching TV. And if you're watching TV, you're going to get a certain level of knowledge transfer. But if you ask questions, and we'll have a Q&A later on, or you post questions in the chat box, you're going to get a lot more involved in it. So my invitation for you is you're interested in engaging clients in the future. You yourself have to bring your engagement forward. If you hide out too much, and I understand if you're an introvert and a little shy, because I am one too, believe it or not, I am. You want to generate yourself and stretch yourself a little bit to engage and participate today. It's my invitation. It's not a requirement, but it's an invitation. And if you accept that invitation, I promise you'll have at least a bare insight into your business, if not a breakthrough. Yeah, a breakthrough. That means an extraordinary result, one that you may not have been expecting today. So, and I've been doing this for 30 years, so I can make that claim very safely. Okay, so great to have you here. All right, so we're going to start. I'm going to give you a short presentation because good nature of sales is to make it short, sweet, and then get into an engaging conversation with people. So I'm going to be an exemplar of that. Okay. My invitation to you is I'm going to be playing 1,000% out. I invite you to play 2,000% out. If you play 2,000, I'll match you at 4,000. But if you do less than 100, I'll be polite to you. I won't be rude, but I'll be polite with you. Okay. So my invitation is play full out, engage, ask questions. Noah, I'm so impressed you're here. Really great to have you here. And great to have all of you here. This is my passion, and I'm going to jump into the presentation. We'll do about 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll jump into the Q&A. Line up your questions. Feel free to type it into the chat box, and here we go. All right, so welcome to the presentation, and I have a slightly different title from what you may have seen, but it's a similar title. It's, why smart professionals like you struggle to sell, and what will actually make a difference and sell for you. So this is a business educational presentation. Please don't network out of just courtesy to everyone else here. I ask that you don't network because it's disrupting and disrespectful. And if I find out that you are, I might have to excuse you. So please, please, please don't have me do that, okay? So please be respectful to everybody here. All right, so intentions for this time together. We want to dive into why your current messaging isn't working. Now, this might be bad news, but I always say, bad news is the forebringer of good news because there's something you can learn from bad news about what's not working so you can make it work. So we want to find out and uncover why typically current messaging isn't working for most people. I'm also going to start uncovering why people might be telling you, I need to think about this whenever you make an offer to people or you state how much your business or your service costs. People like to say, I like to think about it. I need to talk to my wife about it. And I'll give you a very surprising, but very effective and very simple way of avoiding getting into a situation like that. Building genuine sales confidence. How can you have comfortable conversations with people, even if you feel uncomfortable? How do you do that? That sounds kind of like, counterintuitive. Most really good sales is counterintuitive. I mean, there's intuition and then there's like things that you almost don't think of, but they're in the domain of what you don't know that you don't know about yourself. And if you start uncovering what you don't know that you don't know about yourself and your clients, you might actually have a fighting chance to make some clear headway in being effective as a salesperson. Okay, we're going to do a Q&A. Again, like I'm saying that because I'm going to cue you guys up to ask questions, because building the art and science of asking questions actually builds your muscle in attracting your clients to ask you good questions too. Because if your clients are asking you good questions and you can answer because you know how to answer those questions yourself, then that's a very powerful way of building your sales muscle. Okay. And then I'll give you an easy and free starting point. Some of you will have the opportunity to have a meeting with me post this webinar, and you can schedule it for completely free, contingent that you bring an element of coachability and discovery, and you want to learn. And I'm happy to do that. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about what I do. I hope you get that, and I hope there's a mutual partnership we can build here in terms of learning and teaching. Okay. All right. So a little bit about me, and then I promise you we'll get into more good content. So since 1991, I've mentored thousands, probably more like tens of thousands of entrepreneurs to success. The founder of a 200,000 plus member of global entrepreneur community. Some of you came from the community through Meetup. Some of you came through LinkedIn. Some of you came through Alignable. Thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure to have you. I'm also the founder and CEO of the Global Small Business School, which is globalsmallbusinessschool.com. I'm author of 2 books published, and I've got 2 underway that are due to be published as well this year and next year. I'm a pretty much well-demanded speaker, corporate trainer, and difference maker. Made a world of a difference, and difference in the world of poverty and climate restoration. It's a privilege again to be here to teach you all the art and science of selling, because I couldn't do any of that if I didn't know how to sell in a graceful and effective way. few other things about me. I've spoken at some of these locations. Some of you may be speakers interested in elevating your ability to speak or wanting to build a speaking career. I'd be happy to talk to you about that as well. A couple of testimonials. Again, this is not to toot my horn, but to show you that I actually walk my talk. So I'm not just like talking here in an abstract way and there are no results. These are clients that actually produce solid results. And that people have tripled their income. This is Charlotte Jacobs. Some of your coaches might recognize her. She's an international, well-known trainer for coaches to make money and to be in integrity with their art of coaching. A fabulous person, still a very good friend of mine. Christy Williford is a pretty well-known marketing strategist and web designer. She does absolutely great work. And she learned from me how to not have any more guilt around knowing what her true value in her marketplace is. Some of you may be trying to figure out, how much should I really charge? And there's actually a more interesting question. If you're interested in knowing what that other question is, let me know in the Q&A or type it in the chat box if you're interested in learning how you can charge more money without guilt. Okay. And this is just a word from the former CEO of Meetup. I know the former CEO of Meetup and the current president of Alignable. Some of you came through those communities, and I've taught many people in their communities as well in the art and science of not just selling, but other aspects of business. If you want to find out more about me, you can go to Sunil Bhaskaran, my full name.com, and you can see the testimonials there and other information about my courses, etc. Okay, so who is this webinar for? If you're skilled at what you do, but you're struggling to communicate your value, you're in the right place. Okay, some of you may have been in business for a short period of time. Some of you just are getting into business. Doesn't matter, okay? I can teach you, can help you, can guide you, as long as you're willing to learn. You undercharge, but you're not sure how to ask for more. More money, more better terms, etc. Sales conversations feel awkward or pushy for you, and you like to have a breakthrough or an opening or freedom in that without having to compromise your integrity and your goodness of your heart. You can have a good heart and still sell very well. You want practical tools and not just theory. So you're in the right place if you are looking for those. I'm going to start getting into some content, but the first thing to understand is this distinction here that is a little tricky to get for some people, but I invite you to really dig into this, because a lot of what I teach may seem a little counterintuitive, but it actually works. There's a reason why it works, because it's counterintuitive. While the rest of the world is doing some kind of sales in some strange way that doesn't work, and they keep doing it, these distinctions that I present to you actually work and produce results. It's up to you how you want to apply it. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. I mean that in a very honest way. You got to try it on and see if it works. So they could say that knowledge exists maybe in 4 different areas. The first area is what you know that you know. So you know that you know English. Big deal. Everybody knows what they know, right? And then you know that you don't know perhaps how to speak Swahili, which is an African language. So you know that you don't know how to speak that. Okay. And what do people do with what they know that they don't know? Well, they have an option to learn it or forget about it. Right? And then there's an area of what you don't know that you know, which is more like intuition. It's kind of like those of you who have a good feeling or a bad feeling about certain people. You don't know what that is, but you have a bad feeling. And mostly that good feeling and bad feeling are pretty good guides for whether you want to work with those kinds of people. That's an example of intuition of what you don't know that you know. But then there's this whole other area of what you don't know that I'm more interested in engaging it with you, because these are your blind spots. I'll repeat it again. This area is where you find your blind spots. What you don't know that you don't know. So you don't know that you don't know that you have a blind spot on your rearview mirror of your car. When you first get into your car, you don't know even to ask if you have a blind spot if you've never been exposed to the idea of a blind spot. Similarly, if you're on riding a bike and you have a rearview mirror on your bike, you won't know that you may have a blind spot. So it's what you don't know that you don't know. But once you uncover what you don't know that you don't know, it gives you a whole new world of effectiveness. Now I can look in my rearview mirror. I know that I have a blind spot. I'll just watch for that, right? So it keeps you safe, but also increases your performance. So I invite you to consider that there are areas in your life and in your business where you don't know that you don't know you may be having blind spots. And once you know these blind spots, it gives you an opportunity to get past the blind spots and actually create an unprecedented increase in your performance. So I'm exposing you to this because this is a domain of knowledge that most people don't really engage in, and it's unfortunate. I wish more people would teach this, but now you're getting an opening and an introductory lesson into this world. Okay. So one of the things that some of you may not know that you don't know is that sales may be actually a lot more straightforward than you think. So unfortunately, a lot of people teach sales and it gets very complicated. I'm going to try to uncomplicate it for you, even if you're fairly experienced in business. There are two things I assert that you really need in business today. Okay, and first thing is a well-written offer. It needs to be written up or typed up somewhere so you can consistently and constantly change it. So we're going to go through what a well-written offer looks like and what it doesn't look like. Okay, that's the first thing. The second is big deal. You got a written up offer. If you don't know how to present the offer effectively with somebody, then that written offer won't make a difference. So this may be like, Sunil, of course, that's pretty clear. But the thing is, what I wanted to start looking at and uncovering is how come I'm not presenting the offer as effectively or efficiently as I could? Are you taking too much time? Why are people not interested after they seem to be interested, but when it comes to the money conversation, all of a sudden they're no longer interested? So what's missing there? Not so much maybe what's wrong, but what's missing there. And also in my written offer, what's missing in my written offer? You may want to ask yourself. Okay. So those are the two things you need, really. Seriously, you can do a really good business with just these two things: a well-written offer and the skills and the practice skills of offering your offer effectively. And, it may take some practice. Some of you may take a few months to get there. Some of you may get this in a week. Do not be discouraged because patience will win the game. For some of you, it may occur to you like you're losing the game of sales. But if you're patient with this and you focus on these two areas, I guarantee you, and I can say I guarantee you, at some point something's going to shift for you, and you'll be able to sell more effectively, and you'll be even outdoing some people who took the quick answer. Some people settle for the quick answer in sales, but they didn't go through the kind of inquiry and kind of hardship and struggle it takes sometimes to really have someone learn sales really well. Okay. So do not be discouraged. Keep at it. Okay. So why your message is not working and what to do about it. Now, these are a few distinctions that will help you uncover what's not working about your current offer. For a lot of people, what they tend to focus on when they are asked about what their service or product is they tend to explain how their product works. Oh, you're a financial advisor. Tell me about your service. And then they go into a whole half an hour lecture on how their process works, which mostly puts people into a coma. And I would advise you to avoid putting people into a coma by explaining or over explaining how you do your business. The first thing people want to know really is how you will alter their future in a good way, in a positive way. And I'm going to give you examples here, but you may want to start thinking about, hey, maybe that's what's missing in my sales offer. In my written up offer, I'm not really explaining how their future changes. I'm doing a really good job explaining how I do things with them, but they're not getting at all how I can make a difference with them. So what is the difference in the future that you're making with them, specifically in terms of results? And also the second point, how you may help them change their emotional state. Are they going to get more clarity? Are they going to have more peace of mind? Are they going to have more joy? How exactly are you going to alter their future or help them alter their future? Okay. The third point is what I call moral intelligence. Moral intelligence is where you're conveying to your audience that you share their same values. People tend to resonate when they read your offer if the offer portrays values that they believe in themselves. So that could be integrity. If they value integrity, or they value relatedness, or they value good customer service. So you are explaining that in your offer, or you're presenting that, and that resonates with people. Okay. The last thing is social intelligence. This is getting particularly important recently because a lot of people are coming to you and they really want, even if they're buying nails or hardware, whatever it is they're buying, they're looking for a community that they want to belong to. So if you're in a coaching business, people may want to come to you and they want to meet other people who are your clients. So maybe part of your program is that you have a group coaching program and you have individual coaching as well that gives them a sense of being able to connect with social intelligence. They want to build their social intelligence. They want to connect to other people with their intelligence and learn more and grow with them as well. Right? Some of you may have a healthcare business. So you may want to give people the opportunity to have a community like that. Okay. Now, of course, there are exceptions to the rule you might have, but bring these exceptions to the rule in the Q&A, and I'm happy to help you craft out what these 4 could look like in your copy. Okay. So I advise you to take this very seriously, my offer to you to ask me questions and challenge me, because a lot of you are going to be kind of shy and quiet about asking questions because you can't figure out the right question. I say don't be shy about it. Come on the Q&A when I announce it. And even if you can't craft your question, come on, I'll help you craft it really well. Okay. So these are the 4 things that could be missing. A couple of examples here. Okay. And now remember, you may not be a dating coach, which is the first example, but listen for the commonality between this example and what you do. Okay. So as a dating coach, as a result, you may want to say a 10% improvement in your ability to get dates. Okay. Now, it has to be something you can promise, obviously, and you can always put a contingency on the promise. For example, 10% improvement in your ability, contingent on you being coachable and doing the work. Right? Second one, experience. Feel genuinely confident approaching someone you find attractive. So that's a promise that you make out of your coaching. Again, they have to take the coaching, obviously. As a financial advisor, the result could be increase your retirement savings by 50,000. I know for some of you financial people, you cannot make promises. I understand. But you could make the promise, maybe sleep soundly at night, knowing your finances are secure, etc. Now, of course, you have to look at your legalities and all that. But again, I'm asking you not to be caught up in the example, but look at the thinking behind the example and how you can apply it to your own business. Okay, that's more important to really get. Okay, if you're a parenting coach, example number 3 here, experience a breakthrough in your level of confidence in guiding your team through difficult times. Example of a result, reduce family arguments by 70% within 30 days. Okay, again, that could be a contingency, contingent on your family and yourself being coachable. Marketing consultant, if you're a marketing consultant, the experience is feel excited about your marketing instead of overwhelmed and confused. That's a fair promise to make, right? And again, you can make it contingent on their showing up, doing the work, giving you information, etc. Result, generate 5 qualified leads per week consistently for the next 3 weeks, etc. Again, you want to look at promises you can really make, and you can always put contingencies behind the promise so they are real promises, and not all the pressure is on you. Okay. So I want to address the think about it problem that I alluded to earlier. This is the problem where People come to you, they hear your presentation, they like your presentation, they even tell you they can see themselves doing your service, but they need to think about it. So you want to start disassembling why prospects stall. And the main reason, almost all the time, and I'll repeat it again, almost all the time, is because you fail to have them see the future, the exact future that you can lead them to, that they're interested in. So it's usually a failure on your part in your copy or in your conversation that you didn't adequately show them that you're leading them to a particular future that they feel very drawn to. They want it really badly. You fail to either get what it was, or they didn't have one and they have no urgency, right? So you want to really start looking at how you can really clearly and compellingly and truthfully and honestly convey to your clients or your prospective clients what is the future that they find most compelling that they want to work with you at. If they're talking to you, I almost bet you there is something that they want. You have to find out what that is, and it's tricky. Sometimes even I fail to find it, but then I listen very keenly and I hear it. And you want to build that muscle of hearing what people are saying and asking them the right questions to elicit what they are really looking for. Okay. You must insisting on connecting where they are at now to where they want to go in the future. So you got to find out where they're at right now. So you want to ask them questions like, tell me more about your current situation. Tell me more about that. Dig deep with them so you get the real feelings and experience and lack of results they may be having now. So you understand where they're at now. Then you want to clarify where do you want to go. So tell me more about your objectives and why they're so important. How urgent is it for you to have that happen in the future? I know you want to have that in 6 months. Do you want to start going now? Or do you want to wait till later on? That tells you a lot about their urgency level of how much they want to get there. If it's not urgent, you got to dig deeper because there's something else more urgent for them, probably. Okay. So a lot of times I see people failing in this conversation because they fail to get what people really want, or that person really doesn't have anything urgent. And it's your job to find that out as quickly as you can. Okay. That comes with practice. The practice can start today. Okay. And in the Q&A, I hope you can tell I'm really selling the Q&A. I'm giving you all an opportunity to really practice with me so you can leave here with something really good, juicy, and useful and start using it right away. Okay. So you got to find out where they're at, find out where they want to go. If you don't know that, it's really damn hard to sell. I'll repeat it again for the hard of hearing. If you don't find out where they're at right now and where they want to go, I'm glad you like that, Nelly. You can't sell. So then you show them 3, maybe 4 steps to get there, but not the full details. Because if you give them the full details, they're either going to fall asleep on you, it's too much information, or they're going to have too many what I call preliminary questions that shouldn't be questions they ask you now. They should be questions once they paid you money. I'll repeat it again. If you're giving them too much information of how you do your service, they're going to feel like they already got enough from you and they're not going to buy. Now, the important clarity is they feel. They really don't have it all, obviously, but they think they do. Or they're too confused and they're overwhelmed with the information you gave them on how you do your service. If they have what you're going to get, that's good enough for now. If they have 3 or 4 steps that help you get there, that's good enough. Some detail-oriented people may want to know a little bit more, and I emphasize a little bit more, and that's all they need. Okay? If they insist on more than that, they're trying to wiggle something out of you, I promise you. You got to understand that there's a boundary you want to draw around your partnership with your prospective client. You don't want to give away your whole service and everything that you do for free. It's not fair to you. And you really want to start off in a fair footing with your prospective clients. You show them the path to the future in a short, concise way. Okay. So most people, the mistake they make and why people think about it or want to think about it, it's because you didn't show them a clear enough future and you didn't really clarify where they're at right now and where they want to go. Okay. Now, there may be some exceptions to this rule, but this is mostly the case. Right. So what does this methodology do, about asking questions? The art and science of asking questions. Well, after a while, people feel really good because they feel like you're really interested in them. I'll repeat it again. As you ask questions and good questions, and you're really following and listening to them, they feel really good. Now, what happens is as they discover that you're more interested in them than trying to make a sale, their distrust level and stress level goes down. When the stress level goes down, the trust tends to go up. So when the distress level goes down, your the trust level in you goes up. This starts leaving people with the experience of choice in the matter. When they have choice, there's almost no pressure. There's no reason for them to feel pressure anymore from you or anybody else in your organization because the trust is there. They know that you're more interested in them than just making a sale. They also understand that you're a business and you need to make a sale, but you're only going to make a sale if it makes sense for the client. That's important to know because that's a Loctite partnership. I'm very much more interested in creating partnerships than just making money. Making money, it's kind of cool. But making money while you create partnerships with great clients who can introduce you to bigger opportunities, man, that's the Walt Disney world of sales. I mean, that's like when you're doing that, joy happens, and expands. And I want you all to have that world. I have that world. I love for you all to have that and engage with me in my world in that because it's a lot of fun doing that. So when you leave people at choice, then the only thing they have to do is to choose. That's their job, and they know it's time for them to choose. And if you do this right, typically the only things they have to figure out is not that they can afford your money or your pay or not, is how they're going to pay you. So payments or whatever it is, or pay you up front, or other logistics like time, scheduling, etc. Or the answer is no. And you see, it's really good to get a clear no. I like getting no. In fact, I like getting no up front because then I can ask them what they really want. And because they felt me accepting their no, the trust level goes up like crazy because they got it out of their system. They don't have to pretend anymore that they want to say yes to you. They get it out of their system. Now they can really hear you. I never get worried when people say no. And if it turns out to be no, a real no at the end of the conversation, I feel really good about that. And I invite you to start living like that in your sales. It's okay to get a no. It's better to get it up front and quickly. Okay. So if you do this right, again, the only concerns you'll have to deal with is how they're going to pay you and the logistics typically, or they're going to say a straight no, which is, again, good to know and understand upfront. Now, this last statement is very key. What I see a lot of salespeople doing or business people doing is they start making up that the prospective client has certain problems, which they really don't. So they'll say things like, so I know this might be a little expensive. How do you know it's going to be expensive for them? They may not even have that concern. Or I know you may not have the time for this. There's a lot of time that's involved in working with me. Do not put a problem in their space. Okay? Listen for what the real problems are. Okay, so those are some of the things, in fact, quite a big reason why people think about it. So I hope you get that and you have more questions about it. If you have other questions, if some of you, if you have a problem about people consistently tell you, think about it, write that in the chat and tell me, hey, I got that problem too. So go ahead and do that, okay? And let me know that you have that issue. All right. So again, I'm going to go while you're doing that. And I hope you're doing that. Remember, engagement is the key to learning. Again, there's these 4 domains of knowledge, right? And the real domain that's going to give you a breakthrough is this last domain of what you don't know that you don't know. So you're looking for blind spots. So some of you may be kind of like even grappling for the right question to ask. I invite you to just come on the Q&A with me so we can grapple together and figure out what you really need, okay? And I'm very, very good at eliciting what you really need. Okay? All right. So building genuine sales confidence. One of the things to do is to learn is when you start a good conversation with someone, never start with selling unless they want to buy. If they tell you, hey, I want to buy from you, even then, I wouldn't start selling. Many people will come to you and say, hey, I want to just buy from you. So oftentimes they end up not buying because they haven't had an opportunity to really discover why they're buying. How are you going to create a different future for them is what they need to understand. You need to be clear that that's what they want. So you got to make sure you get that first. So never start with selling. True confidence comes from listening. You got to ask questions. Sometimes asking questions might take 30 minutes. And one thing you'll discover, even the shyest person on earth loves to talk. You want to draw out what they've been suppressing and not been able to share with other people. So true confidence from themselves and from you comes from you listening to them keenly. So listen keenly for what they really want. When you listen, when any human being listens, we listen through a filter. Oftentimes, we listen through an opinion about the other person. I'm going to invite you to listen from a different place. I'm going to invite you to listen to your prospective clients from what they need in their future and where they're at, and how you can guide them to where they want to go. Listen through that filter. And if you consistently do that, you will build your confidence up very well. In fact, you'll be able to disqualify certain people who you may not want to work with because it's too soon for them. Nothing wrong with them, it's just too soon or they're not ready. They are focused on themselves, not on your confidence. You don't have to worry about your confidence. Their confidence and your confidence collectively comes from you listening keenly to what they have to say. Now, if they don't feel good about your listening to them, then that's something else. That's another issue. It's not your issue either. It's theirs. Okay. But there are ways to even deal with that. So they see confidence when they see how you're focusing more on what they need rather than trying to sell them on what you need. Okay. Big difference. This confidence comes from practicing. You have to practice it because most people in this world are addicted to quick answers. So they want to just have a quick conversation. You do as well sometimes. You just want to get on with it and sell something. But you may have to pause and go through these stages. Sometimes the stages can go through really fast if you're really good at this. If your listening is very keen, you'll almost literally suck out from that person what they really want and where they're at. Okay. Some of you may be looking at or listening to this, I think quite a lot of you, it's my sense, and you may be saying, how do I really apply this to my world? Right? And what I'm giving you is some abstractions, but how do you apply this to your world? So you may have some remaining concerns, and you may want to express some of the things you need, and you may have an objective in your sales. And you want to see how you can have a customized program or training program that works for you. And I'll be happy to answer those questions. And what I'm offering you is a free discovery session with me. This is totally free. It's for about 30 minutes. The first things I'll ask, and you'll have an option to answer right from the go once you start applying for this session. You will have opportunity to have your remaining questions resolved, but also a pathway to having a breakthrough, if not getting at least an ability to thrive in your business and make some money. It's not a sales conversation because I only give you the opportunity to work with me. I have a sales workshop coming at the end of this month. If you're interested, if you're a match, I'll invite you to that. It's only for, I'm limiting it to 10 people. I think we already have 2 people registered. We have 8 places left. And, only if we're a match will I make that offer to you. I'm not trying to be weird about this or anything. If you feel like you want to do the sales workshop, I will tell you about it. Otherwise, happily go on your way with what I share with you. Okay. Why do I do this? Because I'm committed that people really learn how to sell and sell well, to really sell well, because I think that's really some of the blockages to joy, genuine joy for business in the world. And my mission statement is to have 100 million joyful and successful entrepreneurs in the world globally by 2050. So I'd love to have you be one of those. So that's my discovery session. I'm going to post the link in here. And the link is in the chat box. And you're welcome to click on that link and schedule a time with me. Okay. And please do not post any kind of promotion for yourself, please. If you do, I'm going to kick you out. Okay. Please, Stephanie Diaz, I'm going to tell you right now, you got to cut that out. You got to stop that. Okay. So Stephanie, please do not do that. Or else I'm going to have you leave. So I told you at the beginning, please do not promote, do not network. If you do that again, I'm going to have to take you out. Okay, that's very rude and you should not be doing that. Okay, please don't do that. There's no integrity in that. Okay, so Stephanie, please do not do that. If you do that again, I'm going to have to take you out. Okay, please do not do that. If you want the discovery session link, I just posted it in there and you can do that. Okay, all right. We have more people joining us here. Okay, very good. All right. So before we get into the Q&A, and I see a couple of comments in here. Oh, Lord. Okay. So a couple of questions to start to get you thinking. What is your number one objective for sales right now? You want to write that down. Don't put it in your head. Write it down, okay? If you don't write it down, it's going to be in the ether like a lot of things that you do. You want to start putting things written down so you can start engineering it, designing it, working it, improving it. What is your number one objective for sales right now? Try to make it specific. How many dollars do you want to make in your sales in the next 3 months, in the next 1 year? What is your number one challenge in hitting that goal right now? Third question, what is working about your current sales? Fourth question, what is not working about your current marketing? What is the gap that you're trying to close in being more effective in your sales and marketing? I'm going to give you about a minute or so to write. But my invitation, strong invitation, my request, my demand is for you to start writing the answers to these questions. Put them into the chat box if you wish, because other people probably have the same concerns, the same objectives. And if you have a question like Lida does, I'll be happy to answer. So while I'm answering questions, happy to, you can go on answering these 4 questions in written form. All right, I'm going to stop sharing here.
Sure.
And
Can you hear me now? For some
yes,
reason,
I
I think
can,
you don't
Lida.
have my camera, right?
Is that you, Lida?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, great. Yeah, what's your question, Lida?
Okay. Do you have my camera is on as well or it's off?
Your camera is off. If you want to
I
turn it on, you can. You're welcome.
I I'm trying to, but I don't know why.
Ah,
Um,
let me. There you go. I can see you now. But you need to unmute yourself. I still can't hear you. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Go ahead. Yeah.
there we go. Can you hear
Yeah.
me now?
We can hear you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation. My my question is, it's a very weird question, but in the process of my business, I'm helping the industrial construction companies. They transform their documents, the construction documents, into digital version. Okay, so for that, I have to talk to many people, and I really don't know who is the person that I have to sell to. That is my problem.
Yeah.
To find, for example, there are many workshops, I mean, presentations, and I give presentation on all the do all the share all the information that you actually mentioned that I shouldn't share that much information. I mean, I recognize that in my work, but I
Yeah.
share a lot of information that it's not going through because I'm not seeing right people. But for seeing right people, I have to pass through many other people. So how can I, when you said, I think it was your fourth question, that how can I figure out and fill that gap? This is the gap in my business. I'm not gonna get to the right person at the beginning so I can do my sale. And before that, I have to give them presentation. I have to talk to them, have meeting with them. And in that case, based on what my understanding, based on what you were saying in last half an hour, I realized that, okay, for each person that I'm talking to, if I have to give them something that they need, I have to talk to them and sell to different people in a different method. So in that sense, I can give them what they want so they can refer me to the next person. So that's going to be a very difficult process. And I mean, you have to be a mind reader to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So what is your suggestion for me?
That's a very tricky
Yeah.
situation, right? I
Yeah.
don't, belittle it in any shape or form. It's the nature of your industry. It's the
Yeah.
nature of some people when they do that kind of sales in the
Yeah.
corporate
Sorry,
world.
if I want to give you one more piece of information.
Sure.
For example, when I have to talk, I said, okay, I have to talk to executive department of the industry.
Right.
So when I go to their previous projects
Hmm.
to see, okay, who should I talk to? Each project is different. So the CEO decides who to talk to. I mean, who is going to run this project? So who is going to do the sales? So even studying the previous projects is not helping me. So sorry. Now, please go ahead and help me. I
Oh,
turn
yeah.
off my micro.
You can leave it on. It's fine. I think it's the same premise if you're following that methodology or that strategy, right? I mean, there are two strategies. Either you find the correct decision maker right off the bat, which means you may have to talk to people in a different way. Instead of trying to sell them, you want to sell them, like you said, sell them on the idea of referring you to the right person. See, and sometimes, so when you look at why would that such a person want to refer you? They'll have to look really good as an employee.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes, I've sold like I I get the early days I used to get a lot of big, huge, juicy corporate trainings at Cisco.
Okay.
But I would start by talking to some of the employees and sometimes coaching them. But then I incentivize them to introduce me to the right person. A, I got to find the right person who's the real
Mhm.
decision maker. B, I got to make them look good. So, because that's the nature of corporate work, you got to make sure they look good. So you got to find out like how you can empower that person to sell you to the right decision maker. Sometimes that's a relational uh, process. You may have to really build a relationship with them, looking at what they really need individually
Mhm.
in their client, in their own career, and you can be very honest about it. Listen, I'd like to really support you in how I can make you look good by you using this product. But I also understand that you have to sell someone in your company on using this product. What
Okay.
if I could make you look really good to your manager or decision maker, and at the same time have your company look good as well? And I'm
Uh,
willing to,
Yeah.
step away if it's not a match, I'm going to step away because I want to protect you and make sure your reputation is maintained. Can we work together that way and have a conversation where I can empower you to move forward in your career? And in return, you let me have an introduction to your best decision maker.
Okay. Well, obviously, I need to polish it in a way that is not that direct,
Yeah.
but
You
um,
know, you're in a tricky situation because a lot of times it's not transparent who the decision maker is, and
yeah,
a lot of times people don't want to divulge that. So you almost have to
yeah.
make it safe for them to talk to you.
Hmm.
And this is going to come from practice, unfortunately. You may have to really practice this, but you may have to also look in your presentations and see where you may not be connecting with them as much, where
Okay,
you may have to look and see where you're not addressing what will compel them to make the introduction for you. Yeah.
I see. Okay, okay,
I have
thank
to
you.
acknowledge it's a tough industry. It's a tough one there
Yeah, it is,
because
especially
you're competing with
yeah,
other people as well who probably have the ear of some of the decision makers already.
yeah.
So it's a tricky one. But, if you find the right people who are doing those projects, then maybe the questions to ask is what worked and what didn't work about the project. Where did you, I know this is a weird question to ask you, Mr. John or whoever, but what can I do to help you prevent future issues? Like my product does this. If I helped you circumvent that issue in the future, would that be of use to you? You got to dig deeper into what's at stake for them as an employee to refer you up to the CEO. Your other option is to change your strategy and start speaking, do a speaking strategy to C-level and mid-level managers where they hang out in conferences, etc. That might circumvent this whole issue for you completely, but it might take a while to build that kind of, positioning for you as a speaker. Good.
Okay, if I find, for example, meet manager and I talk to them,
Yeah.
so you think that that would be a first step, right?
Yeah, I think you may need to figure out like where their pain points are. Like don't even try to sell them, but try to build up enough safety for them to share like what's really not working and where they really want to go and where they're stuck. You may
Okay,
need to really uncover that. The other way, like I said, is change your strategy. And because if you're a speaker, they will start coming to you. The C-level people, the people who are the real decision makers will come to you. So speaking kind of circumvents that. And I realize it might be, it might take you 6 months, 1 year to build it up. But that usually breaks apart that whole kind of stuck paradigm that you're in because you don't have a name, you see. And you don't have all these CEO or C-level people in one spot where you can speak to them,
Yeah.
do a really great presentation, get them intrigued with you, have them come to the back of the room, talk to you. That's way more effective.
Mhm.
If your company can help you build up your branding as a speaker in your arena, that might be there's got to be construction conferences that some of the bigger companies, medium level companies go to.
Okay, I see. So if I have event and do conferences, in
Then
that sense. Okay.
it's a really rude term, but it's like shooting ducks in a barrel.
Mm.
You're more likely to, please, if you're a duck lover, don't write to me, okay? But
No, I don't.
if
Okay, I see.
you get more people together and they're all hearing you at the same time, and you see, you may have a longer sales cycle because you have to get the speaking gigs.
Mm.
But I would do what I suggested right now with, the individual conversations. In the meantime, build a speaking career because that will cut through a lot of this for you. Build your brand at a higher level.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Those are the things
Okay.
I can think of right now. I might think of something late tonight. If you
Yeah,
want to set up a time with me, I may have more ideas for you. Okay.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. Absolutely. Thank you.
Sure. You're welcome. Yeah. Anybody else with a question, raise your hand, please. Paul Davis or Noah or Nelly. Yeah, Paul, please.
Appreciate you.
You may have to speak louder, Paul, because we can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Very muted.
Okay, let me say it out loud. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, barely, but yeah, please.
Okay, let me just hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, I apologize for running a little bit late, and I like your approach. I have some specific questions that I put in the chat.
Yeah.
Let me just go to it. Basically, I'm in a startup position with a company, and it's a search firm. We do executive recruiting.
Yeah.
And my goal is to bring in, again, we're at ground zero, $50,000 in the next 3 months. I think my biggest obstacle is me. One of my key strengths is relationship building. And I'm working in an environment where there's no structure, no CRM, none of the stuff that I'm used to when I worked in sales in a corporation. This is kind of a ground zero startup bootstrap type of organization. So
Yeah.
again, I wanted to present it to the group to see if we have any ideas, if we can kind of generate some ideas to help me with this position.
The position sounds like you don't have a system to do, to kind of prompt you to start making the calls and etc. Is that correct? And to
That's
do
part of
more?
it. I've been doing sales for 26 years. And quite frankly, I'm burned out. People see me as only as the sales guy, as the cold caller, as the one who opens doors. And my belief is that can be done through different avenues, through social media, through AI, through a lot of approaches other than, dialing for dollars. That's what people have labeled me. That's what I've been successful at. But I kind
Yeah,
of want to get away from that stereotype.
I see. Well, sales is more of a conversations of how many good conversations you can generate.
Right.
And if to get some good conversations, you may have to have some okay ones on the way there.
Sure.
That's how I measure it. Sometimes, it's 10 conversations and I get 5 really good ones.
Right.
So I think I'm hearing that you really have a style of not wanting things to be too rigid.
Well, the thing is, I create enough rigidity, right, in my own personality and what I do,
Yeah,
and I'm just really burned out. And in my last position,
yeah,
in the first year, I brought in about $300,000, and in the second year, they wanted me to bring in 400,000. My question was, well, what's different? And they said, just because, and that doesn't, I don't buy it, right? And
yeah,
so I really have. And I was measured. I was measured by the number of calls I made, by the number of emails, and it was just it was so structured, so
yeah,
juvenile, if you will, that it just doesn't work for me in
yeah.
this game.
Well, most sales issues are internal battles. I think you know this. I hope all of you are understanding what I'm saying. It's never an external battle. It's never about systems or anything. It's mostly an internal battle.
Right.
Now, what I'm saying is said with a lot of love, which I think you get. But my habit is to tell you the truth. sometimes the truth will set you free, but it might kind of piss you off on the way.
It does.
I like getting through the quick piss off. And I think you're a guy who can handle it. And I don't know exactly what it is, but I'll tell you how you can arrive at the truth. And we can dive deeper into this because I'm very intrigued. Because I like helping people around my age because it's usually something very intriguing because we've got a lot of experience. But sometimes that experience
I'm a
is,
young 62. I just turned 62 last
okay,
week.
I'm a young 61.
Okay.
But sometimes experience can be, the barrier because we think we know, right? But it's really what you don't know that you don't know is the key. So I would frame it this way. It's kind of a mathematical problem, and this is kind of my process, so don't steal it and use it on other people. But
I promise.
it's like you're avoiding X in order to have Y. So for example, some people avoid being thought of as greedy in order to, well, build relationships so they can make money in kind of some cool way. But all you're doing is thinking, I shouldn't be greedy. I shouldn't be greedy. Now, whatever it is, Noah, Nelly, Paul, and everybody else here, no matter what it is, don't ever be greedy. If I keep telling myself that, what am I thinking?
You can't make money.
No. Well, yeah, you're getting there, but it's like you're thinking greed or not greed.
Yeah.
Two sides of the same hand. It's all about greed. So your thinking is completely wrapped up in greed. Now, I'm not saying Paul has greed. I'm just giving you an example, right? Some people, when I say don't think of a pink elephant, whatever it is, don't think of a pink elephant, you're going to think of a pink elephant. Some people will think of a unicorn. The same context, right? If I keep saying, don't think of a circle, don't think of a circle, some people will think of a triangle, which is a shape. So you're still stuck in the context of shape. You're still stuck in greed. You're still stuck in whatever it is. You mentioned the word rigidity. I'm not 100% convinced is that, but it may be that you're avoiding the rigidity in order to have something. I'm not sure quite what that is yet. And as a result of it, you have the symptoms that you have now. So you see, this is philosophical, but I tell you, this is why people fail, because they fail to see this part of themselves. They're so embroiled in trying to avoid whatever they're trying to avoid that they can never get to paradise because they're not focused on paradise. Can you see that?
Yeah, I do.
If you're always avoiding the dirt road to get to Phoenix, Arizona, you'll end up on the dirt road. Or avoiding the dirt road and ending up on an airplane tarmac, right? Which is not going to get you there. So that's where I suspect your problem is. This requires a little bit of inquiry, but it might be in the form of you're avoiding being rigid in some way. And in the course of doing that, in order to get to how you want to do sales, which you feel really good about doing sales, I can tell. You want to get to paradise, but you're thinking, I got to avoid that in order to go there. But all you're doing is you're caught up in the rigidity now.
I see.
See, I'll give you a simplistic way of solving this. If you came from love for your sales, this whole thing about avoiding would be ridiculously irrelevant now. If you genuinely came from loving people, you were just having a ball talking to people, right? And from that love, you may be a little haphazard, a little chaotic about it, but some people are going to go, I should talk more to this guy. And I think some of that joy has been lost because over the years, you've become jaded, understandably so, with a lot of these sales systems and what people are telling you on social media, which I promise you, most of it has nothing to do with joy in sales.
Right.
And you know that. You've seen it before.
I have experienced it.
All of you have.
Right.
There's a point where you got in touch with your joy and you started doing it, and then your career became crashed to the ground of death and rigidity, never to be found again. Until you find a crazy Indian guy like me who tells you, hey, all you have to do is this, and then you'll have a breakthrough, and then you'll be fine. So, you have some things to distinguish there. And my suspicion is it's in that area of what you're avoiding. If you do a little bit of brain work with that, You might see something in the next few days, but I tell you, a faster way, have a 30-minute conversation with you. I'll help you uncover it.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
sign up for a session if you don't mind. I'm just trying to
Okay.
create a flow here because I can see some
Sure.
other people wanting questions answered. All right. Yeah. So make sure you do that. I put the
Sure.
link again in here. You guys. All right. Michelle Austin. Michelle.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. How are you?
Very good. How are you, darling?
Doing very well. So basically, like just background, I've heard your name is because I was born in Zimbabwe but raised in South Africa. So you
Oh,
already know there's a lot of like Indian people there. So I am like connected. So basically, I'm an ethical hacker at night, but I'm head of data privacy and security. I'm a prodigy. I went to college at like 16, etc. Before dual enrollment was a thing. Like I got interviewed for like 4 hours. Anyway, so my question is, as an ethical hacker, does social engineering buff up my sales skills? Because I'm very good at getting information from people, especially in America. Everyone tells their business here. So
what
that's
is
why
it
I
that
wanted to get into like I just wanted to like up my like sales skills because people are always pitching to me. It sounds so inauthentic. And as a hacker and cybersecurity leader, I can see through the nonsense like easily. And I could build the programs that they're trying to sell to me
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah.
I build AIs for
Yeah.
like different boards like nephrologists and computational chemistry. Right now, my main focus is post-quantum encryption because I just mastered post-quantum cryptography. So I just want to know, like, because I'm tired of these people just pitching to me, if I happen to make my own product, does learning social engineering help
When you
up
say
my
social engineering, do you mean social intelligence, what I referred to earlier, or
I guess,
social?
well, no, I'm talking about like the concept of you can pull information out of people. Like, for example, right? An example of social engineering is this. There was a girl, she has a lot of money in Buckhead. I went up to her, right? And I just said, "Oh my gosh, you look so familiar. You know, I worked with your mom, but I remember her maiden name." She tells me the maiden name. Hello, is that not a security question? What's your mother's maiden name?
Okay.
Dumb. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I love your car. I love your car. What is it called? My first car was like so awful. It was an Aveo. And she's like, girl, my first car was X, Y, and Z. Hello, those are security questions. I can hack you now. So basically,
I
does
see.
that help? Knowing how to get information from people?
To sell, you mean?
Or is sales all about acting? Because sales feels very fake.
No, I think, um, sales is,
I'm trying to get a personality because what I get is that, hi, I'm a fat bro. Yeah. Okay, sell
yeah,
my product. I don't
I
like
guess
that.
this is, you're super creative, huh?
Of course, I'm a
Yeah.
professional ballroom dancer as well, like state
Yeah, I
and world
understand.
competitions. So
Yeah,
yeah, so that's why I'm
I
saying,
understand. I
what's the
understand.
persona
I think I
that I
grokked you.
should have?
Yeah. Yeah. But I think you may be barking up the wrong tree.
I agree. I have to agree. After hearing this, I'm like, what persona am I supposed to take?
Yeah,
Like,
I think you're caught up in trying to figure out a persona and you're trying to avoid something in
mm,
the intention of creating a persona so that you can attain true, authentic connection with people. And I'm saying that's flawed.
okay, got it. That's the problem. It's not authentic. So it has
It's
to
not
be,
authentic. And my assertion is you're a babe in the woods when it comes to authenticity. And actually, the truth is, all of us are.
of course.
Because authenticity is more of an inquiry with somebody rather
Mhm.
than a truth, if that makes sense. So,
Brilliant.
authenticity, the key to authenticity is to find out where you're lying about lying. Because if you can point out your own lies,
Yeah.
then you can keep a straight, listen, I'm looking at you and I'm not even blinking. I can be with you 100%. I can listen, I
Yeah.
can grok you in many levels. Why is that? Because I have very little conversation going off in my head. I'm totally 100% with you right now. That's the key to selling effectively. That's the key to connection. You don't need a persona necessarily. You don't need one. In fact, once you get what I just explained, you will automatically create a very natural and loving persona that people will be drawn to. because
Okay.
most people have a pretty good bullshit meter.
Mm.
Okay, I definitely do. I'm a fraud detector.
Yeah, I
So
know you do.
literally,
You
I'm like,
do. Yeah, yeah,
BS.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Mm.
what you want to do is, you see, most people, if you're not getting results in what you're trying to do right now, the reason's fairly obvious because people can kind of feel like they're not really connected to you because you're trying
Yeah, they're just
to,
numbers to me. I just see them as numbers.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. You see them as numbers,
yeah.
not as people with a future that they want to go to. So you've
Mm.
been looking at sales as a numbers game
Yes.
versus a being game.
Oh, that's what it is. Thank
And this
you.
appeal applies to Lita and everybody else who's asked questions as well. Because if you get this, sales becomes very easy.
Thank
I'll
you.
repeat it again for the hard of hearing. Sale becomes very easy because you really don't have to pretend anything or play a role, which is very brain intensive. It'll dry up your prefrontal cortex like that.
Okay, exactly. It will. It's draining. That's why
It's
I cannot
very,
listen to the salespeople
yeah,
because they're so fake. The same script. Oh, I went to college. Oh, I do this. Oh,
yeah,
yeah, bro. Whatever. I'm like, delete, delete. And then I build my own program and I
yeah,
sell it to the company because I'm like, I don't want to deal with them. And I don't have to.
yeah.
Why?
Well, what you're touching on, I mean, I don't know if you are really trainable, but if you are, I can train you to move to another
Please.
kind of realm
Thank
where
you.
it's, yeah. So what you want to do, I'd be interested in talking to you. Now, you guys got to I'm serious about offering this discovery session. It's not some BS session, where you're really going to get a breakthrough if you're willing and open to have a breakthrough. So my invitation to you, Michelle, is click on that link and sign up for a session with me. It's 30 minutes, totally free. And
Perfect. Thank you so
we
much.
will uncover this thing further
Yes,
because
because
you
I'm
don't
a
have to do
lifelong
all
learner.
that.
So
You don't
thank
have to
you.
do any of that stuff at all.
Thank
I promise
you.
you, you don't have to.
Thank you,
Okay?
because it's just so stressful. You are so authentic. I really greatly
Yeah,
appreciate you. Thank
yeah.
you.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's a joy, absolute joy. All right, Nelly was before Noah. So Nelly, please go ahead, please. If I missed anybody, my apologies.
Thank you, Sunil. So I
Yeah,
put in the chat that I teach individuals and small business owners how to protect themselves from an IRS audit.
yeah.
And my question is it safe to tell them that they need to keep records and be able to access those records as long as I don't tell them how it works, how to make that happen? I have trouble holding back.
Okay,
And
I'm
so
sorry. I was a little distracted. My apologies. Can you
that's
repeat
okay.
the question, please?
Yes, I teach small business owners and individuals how to protect themselves from an IRS tax audit.
Right.
And my question to you is it safe for me to tell them that they need to keep records and they need to be able to access those records, as long as I don't tell them how to keep the records or how my system works?
What has that got to do with selling your service?
Well, because it's part of what I do.
Okay.
Um,
Why do you think that's important for you to share that?
because don't people want to know what I do for them? How to, I'm going to take their anxiety and turn them into a peaceful night's sleep, no longer
I
fear the
think you may be
IRS.
delving into the details too soon
Okay,
because what people are really concerned about when they come to meet with you is not that.
okay,
They want to know how they can sleep well at night first, and how you can help them resolve a tax issue if that's the case. And how specifically their future will be altered.
they'll have all their ducks in a row. They'll be peace of mind. They
Okay,
won't have to
so
worry.
yeah, so organize is what I'm hearing, which means order. That means no more chaos, the end of chaos, the beginning of order in your life and in your taxes and your finances to have the remainder of your life be peaceful. I think we have a recording here, so you can take that.
Thank you.
That's more compelling. Now,
Okay.
what you just said, you can put as a pre-qualifier, maybe even just in the agreement or in the contract, or just explain it to them after they signed up with you. or
Okay.
before they sign up with you, depending on your integrity. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I understand that whole thing. But,
I don't want to give away the farm,
yeah, you don't have to, and you shouldn't.
Okay.
So people honestly probably don't care
It's not,
because
my problem is not an urgent problem,
it
but it's,
probably isn't.
but
And
it's
so this is,
important. They
remember when
don't,
I said don't interject problems that are not their problems
until it is their problem. And
until
then
it
it's
is
too
their
late.
problem. Yeah. And, so you may have to sit down with an attorney and see, do I need to disclose this to my client before they sign up? And his answer will be, put it in the contract probably, and you'll put it in your contract and problem solved.
Okay, well, I'm going to have a discovery call with you about
You should.
your
Yeah.
sales process.
No, seriously. Yeah.
Thank you.
You break through that completely. A lot of you are overthinking your sales. I'll repeat it again for the hard of hearing. You're overthinking and over worried about your sales. You want to focus really more on what people need rather than how to get them there. Okay, Noah, young man, come on board, please. Got some questions. Yeah.
Hello. I just had like two quick questions. Just like the first one was I believe it was just like how do you start like when getting into sales? Because like there's a bunch of things, right? So like what's the best way to like just like not the best path to take, I guess, but like how do you start? Like what's
Well,
the best way to
the
start?
first way to start, is to find a product or service that
Yeah.
you really believe in and you will love selling. And I'm just talking to you because I'm kind of speaking in between the lines because I'm kind of hearing you as a younger person. Okay. But this applies to everyone else here. You're asking actually a brilliant question. How do you start? Well, you got to be passionate about whatever you're leading people to the future about. See, I don't care if you're selling nails or hammers or coaching or whatever it is. You got to be passionate. That means you got to be willing to learn whatever and do whatever, go through whatever pain you got to go through because you love the idea of introducing people to this new future. If you love telling people about that new future, a lot of your issues are going to go away.
Okay.
So find something like that or do some research to find some, talk to people who have businesses and ask them, what do they love about selling people about this idea? How do you make a difference in people's future? Listen keenly if that appeals to you. Start with that.
All right. Thank you. I
Second
think
thing you'll do, you think you're only going to give you one answer. Come on, you're a young guy answering questions. The second thing, glad you have a sense of humor. Second thing is write up a good offer.
Mhm.
Third thing is practice making that offer 100,000 times in the mirror until the person looking back at you is someone you want to buy from. And then practice it with other people. Get really good at asking questions, pretending like you really don't know this person, looking back at you. Ask the question. Listen to the person, which is you answering the question, and then, work like that, right? And that's a really good way to build your confidence as a salesperson. Okay. Great
Okay.
questions, Noah. Really good questions.
I had like one more question, just like
Sure,
one
of
more.
course, please.
Last one was just like after like let's say you fail a sale, like big or small, like how do you what was that what I put? Like how do you reflect and like learn like off that like mistake and like how do you or like what are like some techniques or just like ways that you like, practice with yourself to like do
Good
better the
question.
next time?
Good question. The first thing to memorize, burn into your brain, is never make yourself wrong. Never make yourself wrong. Okay? Repeat it again. Never make yourself wrong.
Never make
Tell you
yourself.
why. Because it's easy to make yourself wrong when you make a mistake. It's okay to make mistakes, but
What
it's
does
really a worse sin to make yourself wrong for making a mistake in a sales conversation. So you always have a post-mortem, like after your sales conversation, you write down what worked, what didn't work. Then you ask yourself the question, what was missing such that the sales conversation could have gone better? What was missing? So what was missing, maybe not enough of future, or not answering the question, or not listening better enough. You keep a journal like that. with the premise that you will never make yourself wrong. If you keep that promise, you'll do pretty well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hey, you're welcome, Noah. Good of you to be here. Good on you, man. Yeah. Your mother must be proud, man.
Yes, I do my best.
Good on you. All right. Anybody else with questions or things that I missed in the chat box, raise your hands or forever hold your peace.
Excuse me, what does that mean? Don't make yourself wrong in front of client, you mean? Or
Anywhere. You know how you make yourself wrong from time to time because you missed a
yes,
sale?
I know what exactly it is, but I think that's actually a part of process to, I mean, if we make something, some mistakes, for example,
Yeah.
when we have a wrong assumption that this is the service that client needs,
Yeah.
and then you admit that it was wrong.
Yeah.
So we should do that, right? I'm
No,
talking
but
about
you're
from
not making yourself wrong like you're accusing or judging yourself. You take the judgment out and you just look at what was missing in the conversation and you'll be okay. The trouble is a lot of people get convoluted with, oh, I did that wrong. And, then there's gradually you start training yourself to psychologically, not be very enthusiastic about sales.
I see.
And you see, you want to do the opposite. You want to say, oh man, I made that mistake. Holy cow, wow, I actually made that mistake. Man, okay, I can learn from that. And then let go of any judgments. You're doing it right. You just have to let go of any judgments that may be there. That's what I call making yourself wrong. Take away the judgment, leave the lesson. Yeah? That takes some practice. But you can make corrections as you go along with the client. I do it all the time. I did it earlier today. You guys probably didn't notice it. But you can fess up to making a mistake in front of a client. You gotta weigh that. And sometimes some clients don't like that, but most clients are okay with it.
I see. Okay.
Hey, I made a mistake. Hey, I meant to say this. My apologies. I won't do that again. But I meant to say this. People respect that. But they can also see that you get in your head if you make a mistake and you start judging yourself or them. So they can also see that. So that's where the practice is,
Yeah.
And you see, I meant it when I said probably about 99% of effectiveness in sales is who you're being. That's an internal battle. It's not an external one. See, I can hear some areas that we are you may be stuck in. I'm not convinced yet because I don't know you very well. But I think within 20 minutes of conversation, I can help you untangle. I think there are some areas that you don't know that you're stuck in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean that
Probably.
in love,
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank
have
you.
a conversation, we schedule a time and we can talk about that. We can uncover that. I think I know what it is, but I'm not quite 100% sure. So I don't want to introduce
Mhm.
it and make you go crazy, unnecessarily. Yeah.
Okay,
So
sure.
I don't want to do that. Yeah. So have a conversation with me. We can talk more. Okay. Any other questions? Bob Guzman, you've been on here for a while.
Oh, I had one question actually.
Who's
Sorry,
this?
this
Who's
is
this?
Kriti. I joined a bit late. I had a meeting, but
That's okay. We forgive you, Kriti.
I had a
Can you turn your
general,
video on by chance, or?
yeah, I'm actually traveling back into my house right now, but
That's fine. We'll do it, the bouncing along. Yeah, there you go. Oh, no,
okay,
that's not you.
let me try to do that. I'm just entering one sec. Give me 1 minute.
All right.
All right.
There you go,
I don't know
Kriti.
why
All
it's
right.
gray. That's interesting. Um,
Okay.
Hi there.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'd love to hear the different perspectives about what everyone's selling. I'm not necessarily a business owner, but I work in a Fortune 1 company. And the reason I joined this call was just to listen in and learn about, I mean, obviously, you have to have the ability to sell yourself, I think, no matter what you do. And part of my role is I'm in product management. So part of my role is the ability to story tell, sell my idea, my products. I can do those things, but where I have noticed patterns where I sort of fail at promoting myself. And that true salesmanship is harder because now you're not dealing with like tangible, concrete things like, like this product. You're not talking about this product. Now you're selling yourself. And somewhere I'm more open to criticism, and perhaps it's my upbringing, but I grew up in a family where everyone, was just like into like math and science. And like the one thing that everyone got was like the stuff that's straightforward, like one plus
Yeah.
one is two. And so sales
Yeah.
was never something that was positively looked at.
Right.
Like the ability to sell yourself was always seen as like you're being showy or you're pretentious. And I know
Right.
you sort of hit on this,
Yeah.
that there's an authenticity to it, but how do you reshift or how do you reprogram your mind like
Well,
to see it
yeah.
differently?
Well, you start the 5 stages to real transformation, and anything anybody tells you about programming your mind, run away to the hills because all that's very short term and usually doesn't address what's at the core. I try to get to what's at the core, which is really in the domain of ontology, which is way more useful. To study of being, who you're being. So you said it at the end, the first stage is seeing it. Seeing it is just enough. It's awareness is the first stage. The second stage is where you normalize what you're learning about yourself because it can be a kind of a shock. In fact, if it's a shock, better. Because you have a good catharsis that wakes you up. But like all things, you get over. Your body is amazing at what it can handle in terms of normalizing what you're learning. And once you normalize it, you create a new future for yourself. I can see you on that path, by the way. Uh, and I feel for you because you remind me kind of, I know we are different genders, but that doesn't matter. You remind me of me, myself at the age of 21 when I was starting to discover myself.
Mhm.
You have a place where a blind spot. I can tell from the languaging of what you're saying, because they say language is the house of being. I listen very keenly to your languaging, and your past with your family, etc., tells me maybe about the right area in my compass where you need to go. And that is, yes, there's an area where you're trying to avoid with the distinct, honorable intention of having success or something else as a goal. But because you're trying to avoid that, it's like don't think of a pink elephant. As you avoid more of whatever you're trying to avoid, whatever it is, embarrassment with your family or not tooting your horn or not wanting to rise above the rest of the corn, you as you avoid that, you avoid also your self-expression, which doesn't bode well for sales.
Mm,
Self-expression doesn't mean you have to be loud and boisterous and all that. Listen, I'm an example. I'm a total introvert. Actually, I'm more of an ambivert these days. But believe me, after this session, I'll have to go to my room, seclude myself for a couple of hours and read Shakespeare. That's how I recover. Okay.
me too. Yeah.
I can tell. But you see, introverts make some of the best salespeople because they tend to listen more once they get this thing out of their way, whatever this thing is that they're avoiding. So there's a part of something that you're avoiding. Let's call it X. It may be what you're avoiding is being thought of as someone who's loud and obnoxious or something like that. I'm not
That's true.
100% convinced, but I
It's
think
true.
that, yeah.
That is true.
And in so avoiding it, you've learned to not actually achieve what you want, which is to have a loving interaction with people. How can you have loving interactions with people on top of avoiding rising above everybody else? See, it's not about whether you rise or you're below. Love has nothing to do with that. Totally different context. So the best I can lead you to in this conversation is that you're stuck in a box and you can't see that you're stuck in a box. The escape from that box will give you that freedom, but what keeps you in the box is this fear and some payoffs in keeping you in the box, even if the box has certain costs. So I know that's a little bit of gobbledygook, but I think you grokked me.
No, I get you.
There's a cost and payoff structure that keeps you in that box. You haven't seen enough of those costs just yet. But when you do 20 minutes with me, you'll see those costs and you see the payoffs, and you'll be able to choose if you want to stay in the box and you want to get out of it. When you make that choice, all heaven breaks loose. You know why I know that? Because I've done it thousands of times with people, including myself, and I still do it. I still keep escaping out of boxes about every 2 weeks or so. It's a pretty horrendous life because it ain't pretty, because I have to deal with certain truths that are painful. But it's what has me have great relationships with my wife and with the people I love, and and I can tell people in no uncertain terms that I don't want to work with them and go home and sleep very well. And I would like that for you, because you don't want to spend the next 10 to 20 years with that same sentence that you have cast upon yourself. So, you're not lonely in this. Most of the people here, in fact, all people, are really stuck in this box. You're avoiding dealing with something with the fervent hope and intention, honorable, very honorable, to get to this place, paradise. But because they're avoiding this, they're stuck in a box and they can't get to paradise. How do you get to paradise? First thing, awareness of the box. Second, awareness is the costs and payoffs that keep you in the box. The costs are going to kick you out, but the payoffs keep you in. One of the payoffs is comfort. A lot of people are comfortable in their suffering. So they don't want to give up the suffering because it's more comfortable perceptibly, in their perception. But they're suffering. I'm all for the quick-term suffering, so you get the long-term joy, because everyone has a fork in the road. You're either stuck in long-term suffering with short bouts of joy here and there when you get drunk or whatever you do, or long-term joy with short bout of suffering, usually one time. Bam, you're through. That's why they call it a breakthrough. So if you want a breakthrough, sign up for that session, honey.
Will do.
Get that link. Dare people away from it. Make sure you get that slot. Fight Nelly for that slot. Make sure you do that, okay? I can probably unwind it. And it's my passion, as you can tell, to unwind those kinds of things, because that's the thing. That's the clockwork mechanism that keeps you in the clock. So if you want to be something else, you gotta break out of it, okay?
Thank you.
All right, make sure you sign up for that session.
Yes.
No follow-up, no breakthrough. All right, who else? Any other questions? Noah, any other questions? Anybody else? Questions? Yatu, Mahendran, saw you earlier. Questions for you. Terence, Holland. Saverio, Palakani. Pallavi, V. No, Michelle, the super creative. Any questions for you? Lida, Kriti. Okay, yeah, I did Kriti. Bob Guzman, you just came on earlier.
No, I'm good. Thank
Hey,
you.
Lida. Yeah. Hey, Lida. Yeah. Question.
No,
Comment.
no question. Thank you. I'm good.
Did you schedule a time with me?
No, I will do it afterwards, not now.
Okay. All right.
No,
Okay.
because I'm over my phone. I can't really work with it when I'm sharing my video.
Oh, yeah. I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah. All right. Great. Going once, twice, 3 times. Bob, hey, you need to unmute yourself. Bob Guzman, unmute yourself or take off yourself video and ask that question. Let me know if you're unmuting yourself, or otherwise we're going to leave here. You want to chat me and let me know if you're unmuting yourself? Okay. Any other questions? Going once, twice, Three times a lady. All right. You guys have a great evening. Take care, everybody, and have a great day.